Hello, I'm Joyce Woodworth. Welcome to the Spirit of Winona. Today we're at the Kensington in downtown Winona with Nancy Beach, who's a wonderful cake decorator. Nancy makes cakes for all occasions, and today she's going to share some of her cake decorating tips with us. Hi, Nancy.
Well, hello, Joyce. How are you?
I'm good. Welcome to the Spirit of Winona.
Well, thank you.
Nancy, tell us what we're going to make today.
Well, today I'm going to make a Valentine wedding cake. But as we go along, you will see that we can make other things out of the Valentine single cakes for the people at home, or we can decorate a whole wedding cake as we go along.
Okay, now Nancy, I've seen a lot of your cakes, and I know you make lots of cakes for many occasions. In fact, I've used your services for my children when they were little. You made an Oscar cake, and you made a horse cake, and your creative abilities, I think, are amazing. I was at the Merchants the other night when you made $1 billion cake.
I know. I made my first $1 billion.
Tell me about that. It was such a unique cake.
And they wanted it for their celebration, $1 billion celebration of some sort. And I just had to, they called and told me what they wanted. And I did it, but the big thing was I made my first $1 billion.
That cake was very interesting. What she did was lay out the whole $1 billion, one, and then how many zeros?
Nine zeros.
Nine zeros. And each one was an individual cake.
Had a little comma, the dollar sign.
And everyone was flavored differently.
And we had to put it on two 8-foot tables because it wouldn't fit on one.
It was beautiful.
Fun.
Everyone enjoyed it. Now tell me, I'm really fascinated about how you got your start. Tell me about how you got started baking cakes and how you got into decorating them so nicely.
I worked for a baker many years ago. I've been doing this for 39 years now. I used to watch him decorate cakes. And he liked to drink at night while he was his baking hours. And one morning, it was February 14th, I came in and he had these Valentine cakes that had to be done. And he wasn't able to do them. And he said, "There you go, Nance. You do these cakes." And I got the job ever since.
Oh, wow.
In the meantime, I've taught classes, I've taken classes, I've done lots of different things with decorating, pretty much dabble in all of it. Both my parents were bakers.
We have some wonderful knacks. You use some wonderful colors. You use wonderful materials. Everything is very lovely when it's all finished. And I'm anxious to see how this is going to go.
This is going to be fun.
Well, now, before we get started, I know that you have helpers. Tell me about your helpers back here.
Oh, my ladies. Not my ladies, the ladies. They started coming down and around when we were really busy and would ask, "Is there anything we can do for you?" And when you're in a crunch, we accepted their offer, and they are just wonderful. They help us with making little flowers. They help us with putting flowers on wedding cakes. They've just been wonderful, and are, as you see, are doing cookies right now with the little mice.
Do you all live at the Kensington?
Yes.
Oh, wonderful. How do you like coming down and helping Nancy out?
It sure takes care of a day when you're not doing anything. It's fun.
Sure. What are you doing here? What cute little things are you making?
Well, we're making what we thought would be a cute idea. Nancy thought would be a cute idea for Easter, for people to do at home at Easter time.
Yes.
Or Valentine's or any holiday like that, you know. With all the holidays coming up, it'd be kind of fun.
Exactly.
Well, first of all, we dipped the cherries with the stems on them in chocolate. We dipped them and let them cool. And now we're just gluing a Hershey candy to the body to make a mouse.
Nice,
And with the almonds, we've got the ears.
Oh, how
And then
cute.
she makes the frosted cookie over there for the base. And we have our little decoration.
I don't like mice, so I'm not going to handle them.
So you're going to do the frosting
Just the
on
frosting,
the cookie.
right.
Okay. How about you? How do you enjoy doing this, Thelma?
I do it. I enjoy it.
Okay. Have you helped with a lot of wedding cakes?
Yeah, I've helped with quite a few wedding cakes. Sometimes we share 7, 8 going out on the weekend, on a Saturday. She's busy.
Wow. So that must be a lot of fun for you.
It is.
Ready for
Okay.
another one
Good
here?
fellowship.
Sure.
Yeah, I did.
What are you doing here?
Making the roses for the cakes, yeah.
And you're not gluing it, you're just piecing it together and it sticks?
And it sticks. And see, these are hard.
Uh-huh.
They get real hard like that.
Ah, okay, and then these are all edible, right?
Well, these are.
Now, are you preparing these for a wedding cake?
These go on a wedding cake, yeah.
Okay, is this enjoyable for you?
Oh, I like doing this. If I didn't like doing it, I don't suppose I'd come down.
What do you like about it?
It's people working together and talking together. We have a good time while we're doing it. We see a lot of people coming in and out, and it's just fun to do. We just kind of started this last summer.
So I bet you're happy Nancy moved in.
Oh, yes, yes.
She livens it up.
Sure.
This is my first time.
Okay. So you think you'll come back again?
Oh, yes.
We'll call on them.
Oh, yes, if they need me.
I love it. It's fun. Anything that crafty like this is fun. I love drinking. And what's so neat about it is you don't have to come up with our own ideas. You can just do something because Nancy's got the ideas to begin with. So we can just have the fun of doing it.
The Valentine cookies with the chocolate mice turned out great, and the Kensington ladies obviously had a delightful time putting them together. It's a pleasure to see how Nancy's business, cakes, etc., and the Kensington residents have benefited one another.
You have one special helper, I know. It's your daughter. Tell me about your daughter.
My daughter,
Uh-huh.
Sam.
Uh-huh.
Well, she used to sit at the counter when I would do this at home and watch. And her girlfriends, she'd bring her girlfriends over, and before you know it, they were doing flowers and monkeying with frosting, doing their own little cakes. And she just picked up on it. And she is my partner now.
Well, hi, Sam.
Hello.
Welcome to the Spirit of Winona. Sam, tell me, how long have you been in the business with your mom?
Like my mom said, probably the past 6 years, 7 years. I grew up at home, obviously, and watched her at the counter, and nothing to do in the country, so kind of a learner where you watch and learn, and that's how I picked up on it.
Do you enjoy the business?
There's parts of the business I enjoy, and there's other parts that I don't enjoy.
Okay.
It's
Well, what do you
kinda,
enjoy the most?
meeting different people. People are friendly, you learn a lot, you meet a lot of people. You keep in contact after the years. Like my mom will have people that have gotten cakes from the time their kids were kids, and then their kids are getting cakes after their kids grow up. So it's kind of neat. Like she said, you see them grow up right through the years.
So should we get started?
Oh, that'd be great.
Okay,
Okay.
let's go. Now, these cakes, I assume you prepared ahead of time and they're your own
we did.
recipes?
These are our very own recipes.
Okay.
Fill it with raspberries.
Oh, interesting. I
So
bet you
it's-
that's going to be
This
delicious.
is our French cream cake with raspberry filling.
Uh-huh. Now,
And
what
it's-
kind of raspberry filling do you get? Is a secret too you make
Yes.
it? Oh, okay.
We also use a strawberry with the French cream. You can use strawberry between the layers, which is this here. And then we put in apricot also, which is my favorite.
I imagine there's a lot of pie fillings that you could use to replace your own
That's right.
recipe.
Every winter we seem to end up making a new cake flavor. This year we didn't. But last year it was the Orange Kiss, which is absolutely fabulous. It's delicious. It's a lightly flavored orange cake with chocolate buttercream and raspberries between the layers, and it is good.
Let me ask you about your cake pan. Now, do you actually have a heart cake pan? So it's quite a high cake pan, or is this two cakes?
These are two cakes. I'm putting
Okay.
the two cakes together with the filling in between.
You really put it on there thick.
Put it on thick and scrape it off.
And I want to show this bucket that you put your frosting into. My goodness, that is quite a bucket of frosting.
We go through several of those a week.
Is that right?
Yes.
And you make all this
Oh,
frosting
yes.
yourself?
Oh, yes. It's our homemade recipes.
Uh-huh.
Almond-based. Excuse me, did I get you there?
Nope. You
I
missed.
may, yes.
And it goes on so nicely. I know if I would be frosting this at home, I'd be going a lot slower, and the cake would be lifting off onto my knife. Is there any secrets that you have for that?
Yes, there is. We freeze our cakes before they're frosted, so they don't get crummy. the icing seals in the moisture as the cake thaws out. And I know a lot of people will ask, do you freeze your cakes? Because they think, oh, I can't have a frozen cake. But that's the secret of icing up a nice cake, is a cold or frozen cake. Because I don't have to have this one really, really smooth because we're going to go over it with the lace, lace icing. And so it doesn't have to be really smooth because that will cover it up. If we do a really smooth one out of our regular icing, we leave our icing quite stiff and then use hot water on a spatula to go around and smooth it. We also do the fondant cakes.
And what is fondant?
That's what the ladies were working with over there. And it is a rolled icing, and you roll it out like a pie crust. You set your cake up like this, you roll it out into a great big round circle, and then you drop it over your cake, and you have to smooth it all down the cake and the sides. And it leaves a very, very shiny and smooth finish.
So now Sam's going to take us into the next step of the wedding cake. What happens now, Sam?
The next thing I'm going to do after she sets the main cake up, usually I'll start decorating it, and this is a Victorian style Valentine's cake, and I'm just going to start putting the little squiggles on for it, called cornelline lace.
Cornelline lace. Okay, this is fascinating.
So it looks kind of like lacy draped on the cake. Can make any cake that looks ordinary fancy. Basically, just hold the tube and just. This is an easy thing that anyone could do at home because there's nothing really required to put squiggles on a cake.
I can see where this would cause carpal tunnel. You've got to really hold your wrist tight there, don't you?
Yep, and always whenever someone does this at home, make sure if you fill your bag, before I used to start with my bag really full, you should always squeeze it out, and I'd never listen. You should always squeeze extra icing out and just make sure you fill your bag repeatedly, otherwise your hand is really going to get sore.
Okay, now is the consistency of the frosting that's in there different than the frosting that's on the cake?
Nope, it's the exact same frosting, and it's nice to do it right away when the frosting's all mixed up, because sometimes when you get to the bottom you'll get a lump, and it's hard when you can't get that shortening to squeeze out of there, and then you have to play with a toothpick or something, and then you usually end up crying because it happens at a time when we're really busy. Maybe I should have you try it.
Oh, sure, I'd love to. That'd be a treat.
So yeah, so all we're
Okay.
doing is just going across the cake, and I'm just leaving little, you just put it, press it up.
Any way, or are
Yep,
you
just
trying to leave
squig-
holes?
Nope,
or?
you can squiggle it.
Oh,
gotta push it up against the cake,
This is
yep.
not as easy as it looks. Oh, now wait, here we go. Yeah, that's not
See?
too bad.
Yep.
And you have to squeeze the whole time.
Yep, squeeze and see now how it starts. See there, now you're getting it
Oh,
better.
all right. Whoops. This could be called the dripping cake. Or we could let you do it, and it could be a lace cake.
But the thing is with that, you screw it up. See, now I can just go back right over yours.
Okay.
See, now I just covered up any mess there was.
Okay, Sam, now you've got a lot of squiggly lace, and now you're putting on some beautiful little hearts.
Yeah, that's just the large round tube is all. And that's one of the easier things to do. You could probably do that too, where you just squeeze and just like making a V.
Nancy, tell me about these tubes while
Okay.
she's doing this.
There's a tip. These are called tips. There's a tip for every occasion. There are rose tips, leaf tips, ruffle tips, edging tips. Each of the tips are shaped differently, and each of them make a different design. These tips here, or bags, excuse me, these are canvas. I like the canvas bag.
And now where do you get your supplies?
I get my supplies from Bakery Crafts, Illinois, Cincinnati. Sam likes the plastic bags because they're easier for her to squeeze.
Where do you get your cake decorating ideas?
A lot of them come from my head. The brides bring in pictures a lot of times. We have a book over here of pictures to look at. I really feel that we can do any of it. We've done individual wedding cakes where they sit at each place. We've done mingle cakes. They're a centerpiece for the tables. People love it because the bride and groom, they just get themselves a small cake and get up with their guests and say, okay, find someone at that table that's going to cut that cake for you, and we're going to cut our cake with you. And then she announces, usually, that they mix the flavors up, that she doesn't know what flavor they have. But if they do not like their cake at their table, trade with their neighbor. And the whole room starts talking and yelling and just having lots of fun with those cakes.
The cake is really taking on an awesome appearance here. Your lace work and your hearts are really making it beautiful, Sam. Now, what's our next step?
The next step? Okay. We're going to measure it. We have to take and put pegs into the cake for support.
Okay.
So what we do is just try to get it even.
Nancy, do you have any special secrets to tell people that might be making this cake about the frosting or about the technique of putting it on?
When you put icing on a cake, you always put the icing on the top, a lot of icing on the top, smooth it out till it flops over the edge, and then fill your spatula and put a lot of the icing on the sides. You can always take it off.
Okay, here we go. All right, while you're doing that, Nancy, I'm going to do the swirls.
Oh, that'd be wonderful.
Oh, yes. So, Sam, you're going to show me a little trick on how you do this so I can do it the proper way, right?
Yeah, here's an easy
Okay.
way. It's star tube. You just squeeze, pull. See how that starts to...
Oh, yes.
And then once you get the hang of it, then...
Okay, but now you did it a little differently. You kind of made swirls, didn't you? How do you do that?
That one's tricky. That was hard to learn with her being left-handed, so at least she was talented enough to put it in her right hand and show me the right way. You know, otherwise, but it's over. It's hard to explain. It's kind of like over, under. How do you explain that?
You do it around one way and stop, and then around opposite way. Around. There you go. But you should stop.
What kind of tip do you need for a rose? The same one that you use for the trim on the cake?
What's that tip called? Just a rose
rose
head.
tip.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you need this special tool.
Mm-hmm.
And here's your rose nail.
Okay.
First thing you have to do, you kind of hold it at an angle.
Mm-hmm.
First thing you have to do is keep squeezing evenly. And you build that up to a cone.
Mm-hmm.
And the next thing, you just start
How
at
you
the
make
top.
the petals?
Yeah. Just squeeze quick
Okay.
and pull.
Uh-huh. You kind of just push it around, it looks like.
You see, and then sometimes you're frosting, you just gotta play with it on there. And
It's beautiful. And then how do you take it off to get it on the cake?
you can use a scissors.
Mm-hmm. Now, are we putting some of the finishing touches on here?
Starting to? We are starting to finally.
You're sprinkling glitter on the
Yes.
cake, aren't you? Is this edible glitter?
It's edible glitter. We have it in all colors. We use it on little girls' cake and hot pinks and purples, and we tell them it's fairy dust. But today we have some live flowers we're going to put on.
What other kinds of things do you use on cakes besides flowers?
Oh, mostly flowers, frosting, ribbons. I always like to add ribbons. And I always like to add a butterfly because that tells people that's our cake.
Nice touch. All right,
Good.
well, this is beautiful, wonderful flowers. Do you like, what kind of flowers do you generally
I
like to use?
prefer the little bush roses.
Oh, they're
Because
so
they're
pretty.
smaller and daintier. A lot of times we will take and sugar them. The ladies sugar them for us, which means we beat up egg white and then they dip them in sugar or egg white and then put them in sugar and they sparkle. Roses are edible. Carnations are edible. Lily of the Valley is not edible. That is one of the most poisonous flowers.
Really?
So
All right, well, it's going to be interesting to see how you develop this cake with the flowers. Sam, your cake is fantastic. It is so
Pretty.
beautiful. Oh, the flowers really add to it. And now you're going to put the final
Final
touch on
touch.
it? Okay, do you always put ribbons on your cakes?
I like to use ribbons.
Uh-huh.
I think it adds a feminine touch. It's kind of one of our things, ribbon and a butterfly.
Mm-hmm.
So it tells people those cakes are ours, that we've done.
So we've got doves, we've got roses, we've got ribbons, we've got carnations, baby breath. It is so elegant and so beautiful. You girls did a wonderful job.
It is pretty.
Yes, and we learned some wonderful tricks with this cake as well. The lace and the little swirls. Thank you, girls. This is just beautiful.
You're welcome.
For those of you who can't really have the time or don't really have the time to make a huge wedding cake for Valentine's Day, Sam has agreed to show us just a smaller version of a Valentine's cake for Valentine's Day. And what are you calling this one?
This is going to be Death by Chocolate.
Oh, no.
Normally this is a chocolate cake with chocolate frosting and all the ingredients, but we're doing it with a yellow cake today.
Okay.
So yellow and chocolate go just as well together.
So you need frosting, and it looks like you need a jar of caramel.
Yep, I have
And
caramel,
some
hot fudge.
Hot fudge. Okay, things I love.
Yeah, so it's real simple. If you don't want it perfectly smooth, a lot of people at home, when I couldn't decorate at home, this is my mom always showed me, you could always just take the spatula.
Make swirls to make it pretty. Oh, nice. What a nice look.
You know, simpler, because then you don't need to worry about getting it smooth.
Sam, do you have to get professional tools to do this, or can you find these kinds of tools at, say, Target or Kmart or
I
someplace?
don't know if they have, sometimes just even at the grocery store, they have just a little basic set where they have the little plastic bag and the plastic tips that you can use. Otherwise, if you want to get professional, you can always come to us and we'll order you your stuff.
Oh, that's nice to know.
Here's some of the flowers right here that are made out of the fondant that a lot of people are getting cakes with nowadays. So I'll put them on, but this being a Death by Chocolate, you can melt some hot fudge. You can get that just at the store, so you don't need anything special.
Let's talk about these a moment. Are there recipes for fondants that you can make at home?
I believe there's some recipes, probably now with the computers, you can probably look on the internet and find out how to do it.
It makes the dough just real pliable and easy to
It's
stick
just like
together,
Play-Doh, and
doesn't
then,
it?
yeah, you just roll it together. It's just like, actually like how little kids play with Play-Doh, but this one tastes good and you can eat it.
Okay, thank
And then the hot fudge, you just can melt and
Just drizzle it on the top. This is just your Mrs. Richardson caramel from the grocery store?
yep, right by the freezer stuff, ice
Ooh.
cream. I have some little mice here that the ladies did earlier, our little helpers.
Oh, they turned out so cute. That's darling. You could probably even drip the caramel on the roses if you so choose. That is beautiful, Sam.
Thank you.
Darling. Okay, Nancy, tell us about this cake that you're
Okay.
making. I see it's your opium cake, your
It
poppy
is.
seed cake.
It's going to be lemon filled. It's for a little 1-year-old girl. Name's Olivia.
Uh-huh.
We call her Sweet Pea.
Okay.
So, the mom wanted a main cake that looked like a present.
Oh, cute
with
idea.
ribbon.
This is for her birthday?
This is.
Boy, do you pour on the frosting.
Yes, I do.
Can't believe the amount of frosting you put on these cakes. But it's well worth it because it's very delicious frosting.
But it comes off. I put a lot on and then take it off.
You really are an artist with these cakes, Nancy.
I don't think I could do anything else.
Do you love making wedding
I
cakes?
do. They're my favorites.
What's the tallest wedding cake you've made? How many tiers did it have?
7 round cakes around the bottom, a waterfall. It went up 7 high. We had to wire it to the ceiling. She loved it. Her whole theme was 7. 7 bridesmaids, 7 groomsmen. Everything was done around the number 7. Brides are unique. Each bride is so unique, And the more fun things they come up with, the more fun we have at our job.
Nancy, tell us how you make bows. You just kind of squish them around, or is there a real trick to making a bow?
Well, not really. We made a few bows. Take, wrap around twice, like so. Put them together, and then pleat them together like this.
Ah, okay.
And then do wire tightly
wire in.
and spread the bow apart.
Okay. That sounds simple enough.
Well, all we have to do is find the little hole to stick it into.
And it looks beautiful. Look at that. It is gorgeous. Wow, these cakes are just fantastic. Nancy, you did a beautiful job with your package here. It's wonderful. That little girl's going to be so happy.
Thank you.
Tell me about what kinds of cakes do you like the most?
I love the wedding cakes. I love doing the wedding cakes. I love everything about them. I love to work with the brides. I like doing cakes. I don't know how to do anything else, and I don't think I would like to do anything else. So
You do a beautiful job with it too. And Sam, your chocolate cake looks divine. I'd love to be able to bite into that. Tell me about the cakes that you like to do the most.
I don't know, same as my mother. I like to do just about anything. I like creative ones. I like it when brides or people come in and ask if you can do this. And then when you do the cake, then they come in, they can't believe because it's nothing that they expected it to be. Or I like it when a bride, how many times when they come in and say, do whatever you want. It's like they trust you, and it's like you can really surprise them. That makes you feel good.
Sure. Well, that's understandable. And both of you do such outstanding work. I can't believe how beautiful this cake is. The wedding cake was wonderful, and I really enjoyed learning all about the lace work and doing the little frills. And thank you for sharing your ideas with me.
oh, thank you for coming.
Oh,
And we'd
thanks.
love it if you'd come back.
Oh, well, I'd like to come back and taste them all.
Yeah, that'd be
Okay.
good.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And thank you so much for joining me. Please join me again next week. Till then, enjoy the Spirit of Winona.